Hey, good morning, folks. Dr. Jim Gishman here. And yes, we survived Kerrville. Well, actually, we were in the county right over on I-25 quarter north that got hit also. We got there. We got there on the 4th of July, believe it or not, from visiting my mom out in Alamogordo, New Mexico for her 96th birthday. Couldn't stay in that Cloudcroft RV park very long because that's 8,000 square feet, and I was in the hospital for breathing problems a couple times, so it didn't quite coincide very well. Actually, renting an RV, I could have sat there and bought one for all I've paid for this trip on a rented RV, but we made it back safely. Anyway, I'm trying to cover up my symbol here for my friend that sits there and says I shouldn't be advertising any nonprofit organizations while speaking. But let's talk about Kerrville for a second. You know, it's not anybody's fault. God allows it to rain on Christians too. Okay, we got to all remember that. And for some reason, that's in God's will. Okay, people are taken at every age. Everyone doesn't survive until their 70s and 80s. Some children do not survive. Back in the old days, children, God, it was only about 1 in 5 child that survived to grow up to be an adult. Anyway, let's get on to what's going on here in this country. Of course, they want to blame Trump. It's like Trump said, if he found a cure for cancer, they'd blame him for putting doctors out of work. Okay? But let's talk about the violence of the Democratic Party. Democratic Party, for God's sake, history of violence. Okay? The Ku Klux Klan, assassinating Lincoln, trying to assassinate Trump, and of course, the deep state is very much associated with this too, and they're very violent. I mean, take a look at what happened to Kennedy, for God's sake. Kennedy threatened to disestablish the CIA and said he'd grind them into dust, and Kennedy was warned that things were going to happen, and he knew that Dallas could be his undoing. But and then Nixon threatened the deep state. Look what happened to him. Reagan, he survived, but he backed off of the deep state. He didn't go after him too much. Went after him enough. And now you got Trump. And they've sat there and tried to jail him. They tried to kill him. Yes, they have tried to kill him. You don't think this guy, with all this international connections and stuff like that, was just an accident, do you? And then you sit there and need to reveal this stuff very soon. Okay? The deep state isn't going to let them do it. Deep state isn't going to let them do it. What else we got to talk about today? Besides the history of the deep state violence, okay? The liberals always sitting there destroying whatever it is they can. It's always in the blue states that these riots occur where the city is almost burned down. Remember the Summer of Love? That was deep state violence. BLM and Antifa. They're the weapons of the deep state and of the left. And what do you think about the unit party? We're finding out more and more. Americans are finding out more and more about what we call the unit party. That's Republicans that are also against Trump, against the MAGA movement. What's so bad about MAGA? Clinton used that as his slogan back in the late 1990s, for God's sake. Make America great again. He's not the first person to use that term. It's just more Americans are on board with it. They want a return to America being great. And look, we survived with nothing but tariffs until 1913. Granted, we're a bigger country now, but we don't have to sit there and put the whole burden on Social Security. We'll put a little bit on the tariffs and a little bit on income tax. There you go, and we should have a balanced budget fairly soon. They're bringing in, they've already brought in $100 billion. Okay? People are calling what's going on today a duopoly. We don't have, in other words, the two political parties having a monopoly on everything. Okay? I call it bureaucratic despotism, actually. And that's something I teach in high school. Bureaucratic. Anyway, I can't believe that it's gotten so bad that some Democratic politicians have actually come out and actually said that it needs blood on the streets. And they're putting out death warrants on ICE people and want them to take their masks off. This is disgusting, people. This is murder. Okay? And anyone that espouses that kind of stuff should be locked up for a long, long, long time. Okay? Now, I'm sitting there looking at my notes here, and I'm sitting there glad that as a former intelligence specialist, people like Clapper and Comey, okay, and prison phrase Brennan, okay, are all going to get their due. Hopefully, we keep saying this, and we keep hoping that justice will prevail. Well, folks, it's just not going to happen unless a miracle happens. They have the statute of limitations. The only thing they can get these guys on is lying under oath now in the Durham investigation. Okay? It's the only thing that fits within the statute of limitations. Let's hope that goes through. I'm just sorry that something didn't happen earlier. This is really ridiculous. Okay? All these people are getting away with murder, so to speak. Okay? So, what was my next thing? Oh, yeah, I was talking about Musk's new party. I'm going to check it out. As long as he ain't getting too green on me in that party, I would sit there and maybe support him a little bit. That man's going to get us to Mars. That man's a genius. We got to understand, he's our current Einstein. Okay? The guy can sit there and figure out anything. He can sit there and make anything. He can make it work, too. Now, I'm surprised that Tesla stock is going up. That shouldn't be. I mean, if someone wants an electric vehicle, they should be able to have it. If someone wants a gas vehicle, the market isn't ready for a total something, a total one thing at a time. Okay? It's got to be a gradual thing. Maybe one day we'll all have electric vehicles when the battery situation, in other words, battery storage and battery power, is increased to a certain amount. Let's see. Now, let's talk about Trump a little bit. I talked about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a man that does what he needs to do, whether or not other people agree with him. Okay? In other words, he's got a moral compass. Okay? He wants peace. He doesn't want people being killed. Period. Okay? Get that through your head. He's the most peace-loving president we've ever had. Yeah, he'll use military power, but that's it. Peace through strength, just like Reagan espoused. All right? Now, they've tried everything. From the minute he came down that escalator, they tried everything. He was the darling of the Democrats when he was giving them money before as just a celebrity. But when he became a quasi-politician, and he's not a politician, look at the way he acts. Okay? Look at the way he acts. He sits there, and I hope you like my new hat. It's from San Antonio, Texas. Canopy RV Resort. Thank you very much. Put in a little plug for them. It was a great place, and it was a good, safe place, too, during the flooding. And that's where we hunkered down. Anyway, this man, he listens to everybody. He stops people. He stops Secret Service agents and asks them their opinions. He stops anyone he wants. And look at how much press time he's giving everyone. Okay? He's a boon to the press corps. And everything he does is transparent. He sits there and does his cabinet meetings in the open. He's had 6 of them. God. And he doesn't do anything by auto pen. He sits there and signs things right in public and makes comments about it and does a press conference when he's signing bills. Okay? And he explains things to them. Okay? That's part of your job, is explaining what is going on to the American people. And protecting the American people, of course. Now, he's already declared Kerrville and that surrounding area, those 2 or 3 counties. One of the counties, I was in the neighboring county, as disaster areas, and he did it quickly. Okay, and not because Texas is more conservative. There's liberal spots in Texas too, especially up around Austin and Waco. Anyway, they have tried everything to try to lock him up. They've tried to assassinate him twice. Okay? All because he's fighting the deep state. And the deep state is fighting back. Okay? And I'm just glad that the Supreme Court has put a squash on what they call these universal injunctions. I mean, that is ridiculous. A district judge responsible for a certain district sitting there doing something that encompasses the whole nation. That is absolutely insane. All right? And it's not constitutional. Well, people, I believe Trump's a constitutionalist just like I am. Okay? He believes in some of the same things. Sure, he's got an ego. Every person that runs for a political office has got some sort of damn ego. You know? They'd accuse me of being that way too, certain times in my life. And you gotta let it roll off your back. When I tell my grandkids, I said, look, you'll succeed and fail a number of times in your life, and you just gotta take it, okay? And take those failing experiences as learning experiences. And I said, that's the way life is. It's a roller coaster. It's not all up, it's not all down, okay? So enjoy the ride. And make sure that at the end of your life, you sit there and you're sliding in the home plate and you say, what a ride. Anyway, God bless you all. And I love you. And please hang in there, folks. This is only the beginning of a great new golden era. Just let God let it happen, okay? There'll be disasters. There'll be problems. Understand that that's part of God's will. Take care. I love you, and I remain your humble servant. Take care, man.